You're never going to be completely healthy if your gut isn't healthy. But what do you think of when you hear the word gut? The part of your soul where you feel strong emotions like a gut punch? Or the part of your belly that you try to suck in when zipping your jeans? Today, we are going to discover why the community of organisms living inside your intestines is the key to overall health. Because the gut on the inside matters as much as the gut on the outside. Healthy isn't just what you do, it's who you become. I'm Dr. Vickie, and this is Healthy Looks Great on You, a lifestyle medicine podcast to help you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your well-being. Life tested, doctor approved. Before we go to mini medical school, let's learn a little history because this is fascinating. In the 1600s, a Dutch guy named Antonie Philips van Leeuwenhoek decided to look at poop under the microscope. I've got a couple of grandsons, so I get it. They love to talk about poop, and if they knew they could look at a magnified view of it, they'd probably jump up and down. I know it's gross, but they're boys, and I can just hear them now. What's that? Turns out it was bacteria and protozoa, or as Anthony called them, animalcules. No wonder the science didn't move forward for a long time. But 100 or 2 years later, a doctor and professor in Germany named Theodor Escherich published a paper that became foundational for our understanding of the gut microbiome. As a pediatrician, he was interested in digestion in babies. And he described a particularly famous bacteria called Bacterium coli commune, which, either fortunately or unfortunately, was later renamed after him. You've probably heard of E. coli. There are so many great stories in the history of the gut microbiome, but let's fast forward all the way to the Human Microbiome Project, which was launched in 2007 to help organize what's in the gut and what we know about it. Our understanding of the impact of gut health on overall health has expanded exponentially. Why does it matter? Oh, thank you for interrupting me. I could have turned this into a history lesson instead of a lifestyle recommendation. But now that you've finished your undergrad work, let's go to mini medical school and learn about the gut microbiome. It's microbiology, physiology, pathology, and immunology all rolled into one place, the intestines. There are bacteria on every surface in our world, and I'm not just talking about daycare. They're on the grocery cart handle, the bathroom, the kitchen, and the exit doors for newborns. You know, the skin of a pregnant belly or the vagina. Of course, antiseptic is used to reduce the chances of infection during a C-section, but the fetus's address is still right next door to the birth canal. So, your very first exposure in life to bacteria started before you ever took your first breath and cried. Of course, when babies cry, mamas feed them, whether that's from the breast or a bottle, you can bet that sweet little baby is swallowing some bacteria who are going to set up camp. And that's a good thing. Then grandma came over and kissed you and shared her microbiome. And then you made friends and you all licked the same toys because, as toddlers say, it's mine. So your intestines get colonized with living microorganisms from your friends and family, your environment, and what you eat. Some are good, some are really bad actors, and I'm feeling particularly happy today, so I don't want to ruin my mood by talking about the bad guys. Sorry if you're not in a good mood. Maybe your gut is to blame. Seriously, these trillion or so organisms aren't just lounging around in your gut. They have jobs to do. Think of them as factories that produce things like neurotransmitters. In fact, about 90% of your body's serotonin, which we call the happy hormone, is made in the gut. And 50% of dopamine, or the pleasure hormone, is also made right there in the lining of your intestine. So it stands to reason that if the gut ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But the gut microbiome affects more than just mood. It also houses the inflammation department and 70% of your immune system cohabitates within the gut microbiome. Are you beginning to see a trend here? An imbalanced gut microbiome can cause constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas, and heartburn. Yeah, fiber can cause some intestinal issues too, especially if you aren't used to it. Start slow if this is new to your gut. Your gut microbiome is pulling the levers when it comes not only to digestion. I'm talking about your mental health, your immune health, and wait for it, your metabolism. Hunger, cravings, and appetite, gut microbiome. Blood sugar and weight, gut microbiome. Even obesity and type 2 diabetes can partially be explained by the bugs in your belly. So the real question becomes, can you change it? I mean, it's not like you can evict these 3 trillion bacteria already living there and replace them with a better model. But, and if you've listened to this podcast before, you probably already know that I'm going to say that diet and lifestyle are the answer. And that's the good news. And yes, you knew there would be bad news because here's the deal. It took a long time to establish your gut microbiome, and it takes a long time and a lot of effort to change it. But you have a choice. Learn to live with what you've got and potentially suffer the health consequences, or accept that you've spent a lifetime acquiring the current residence in your intestines and start making changes now that affect maybe not tomorrow, but probably next year. Look, changes do happen immediately when you change what you feed those little critters. But if you've experienced health issues or symptoms related to dysfunction of this system, positive changes don't instant results. So you've got to be in it for the long haul, and I hope you are. Gastroenterologists are doctors who specialize in all things related to digestion, but they will tell you that your gut microbiome can contribute to heart disease, diabetes, brain health, and belly fat. According to the University of Utah Health, the gut microbiome can promote acne, asthma, allergies, eczema, cancer, cavities, depression, anxiety, ulcers, diabetes, as well as neurologic and autoimmune conditions. I don't know about you, but I want to nourish a healthy gut microbiome. I've got an autoimmune disease, and I have a family history of a lot of stuff that I don't want in my future medical record. Turns out that an ounce of prevention is found in a pound of colorful fruits and vegetables. Think red, tomatoes, apples, strawberries. Think orange, carrots, sweet potatoes, and oranges. Think yellow, squash, mangoes. And think green, spinach and kale. And blue blueberries. But wait, there's more. Nuts, beans, and seeds and whole grains also help nourish your gut microbiome. And here's why. They're chock full of fiber. Raise your hand if you participated in my 7-day fiber challenge. And if you missed it, stay tuned. We'll definitely do it again, so make sure you're on my email list so you don't miss out. And there's something else coming very soon as well. But dietary fiber is the main thing you should add to your diet to improve gut health. You know how we talked about metabolism, and I was talking about your body's ability to break down food and use it for energy and not excess storage? Well, bacteria may not have feelings too, but they do have metabolism, and they need fiber to keep things running smoothly. The main way you change your gut microbiome is to feed it good fiber. There are 2 kinds of fiber, soluble and insoluble, and those critters living in your intestine need both. Some foods are considered prebiotic, and these are undigestible fibers that are broken down by gut bacteria to produce short-chain fatty acids, which is something your intestinal lining just loves. So you definitely want to eat prebiotic foods. Consider adding these. Garlic, onions, and leeks won't do much for your breath, but it helps your gut. Bananas, apples, soybeans, asparagus, oats, avocado, and whole grain wheat are also prebiotic foods. Jerusalem artichokes are on the list too, but I've never really seen one, and they aren't even an artichoke at all. Other foods are considered to be probiotic because they actually contain living bacteria. So it's like move-in day at the college dorm. These foods have yeast and bacteria that breaks down sugar, and that helps with gut microbiome balance and supports your immune system. So try adding these to your diet: tempeh and miso, kimchi, pickled vegetables, sourdough bread, and sauerkraut. The refrigerated kind, not the stuff in the jar on the canned veggie aisle. Kombucha is also probiotic, but it's often made with lots of sugar. Kefir is fermented, but it's made from dairy. And as a reminder, that's not a plant. Speaking of non-plant foods, I'd like to mention yogurt. Doctors often tell their patients to eat yogurt when taking antibiotics to mitigate the harmful impact of antibiotics on gut health. But you've got to make sure you're getting what you think you're getting. The yogurt that might have some benefit contains live lactobacillus cultures. To make it easier, just look for the LAC seal, live and active cultures, because some yogurt is fermented and then treated with heat so that it lasts longer, but guess what? Heat kills bacteria. Plus, yogurt can be high in fat and contain lots of added sugar, and sugar is harmful to the gut microbiome. So it's possible to think you're doing something good for your body by eating yogurt, but the bacteria have been inactivated and the sugar has been added, and what you thought was helping just tastes delicious, but doesn't help. Anyway, there's not a single food you should eat, but rather a variety of plants, colorful plants. But diet isn't the only thing that promotes a healthy gut. Remember those short-chain fatty acids that are so important? Well, the microbes that produce them and help with inflammation and a strong gut lining need more from you than fiber. They need you to sleep. Your body does so much work while you sleep, and that helps them produce butyrate, which keeps the gut healthy and diverse. You see, a variety of microbes is associated with better gut health. Ideally, you need 7 to 9 hours a night, and even one night of poor sleep can disrupt the delicate balance and cause unhealthy cravings. So get your beauty rest, or in this case, get your butyrate rest. Exercise has similar benefits, so get out and move. And whew, I just threw a lot at you. Fiber, sleep, movement, fermented foods. If you're thinking, where do I even start? That's why I created the Healthy Looks Great on You Lab. It's a place to put what you learn into action. And the doors open on July 1st, 2026. For 3 months, a cohort of women will cheer each other on to get gut healthy. And if you want to go ahead and check it out now, you can go to healthylooksgreatonyou.com/the-lab/ More details coming next week, but we're going to focus on gut health, and I hope you'll check it out because gut health is important for overall health, and healthy looks great on you.
The information contained in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not considered to be a substitute for medical advice. You should continue to follow up with your physician or healthcare provider and take medication as prescribed. Though the information in this podcast is evidence-based, new research may develop and recommendations may change.